Hi, this is Mark from Wiki Design. In this After Effects tutorial, I'm going to show you a new method for creating a timer countdown like this. Plus, I'm also going to be sharing a custom timer converter I created specifically for this feature in After Effects. So now let's just jump into After Effects, and then I'm going to show you how you can use this tool to convert over any of these kind of formats right here. And here we are inside of After Effects. In order to get access to these new timers, what you need to do is make sure you have the most current version of After Effects. And as you can see right here, I'm on version 25.1 as of recording this. So the newer version of After Effects made it a lot easier to create these type of timers without having to touch any sort of like code or anything like that. So the first thing we need to do is just bring in a text layer. So what we can do is just click up here for text, and you could just type something in. This is just going to be a placeholder for now. So once you have that, what you need to do is now navigate over into your effects panel over here under effects and presets. And like I said, the newest versions, it's going to be underneath animation presets, text, and then they're going to have this whole new folder right here called numbers and counters. So in this tutorial, we're just going to be covering this one right here called timer. But as you can see, there's 3 other ones on top of that. So just click and drag that in to your text layer. And as you can see, when I did that, I actually changed the font. So you can go ahead and change the font back into something, just kind of normal like that. And then this is where you're going to go ahead and increase the size of your timer right here by increasing the font. And then you just kind of click and drag this wherever it's going to fit on your screen. Okay, so now that's on your screen, what I like to do is just expand these layers right down here and just make sure that there's no keyframes that came in or anything like that. So when you scrub right here, it should just kind of stay at 0. So this button right here is, if you enable this, now anytime that you scrub inside of your timeline, and let's say you make an adjustment here, an adjustment here, it's going to automatically add these keyframes right down here. So you can see if I scrub, it starts at 0, goes up to that first value. So if you start to play around with these values and you see that it kind of goes back and forth, it's because this animate button for the animate value is enabled. So let's go ahead and actually just turn that back off, and let's go back into 0. Now, what I want to focus on in this tutorial is this right here. So when you choose in between minutes and seconds, hours, minutes, seconds, or days, hour, minute, seconds, this is all tied to like a formula. So what I mean by that is, if I start to scrub up right here, you can see that 62.96 is equal to 62 hours, 57 minutes, and 46 seconds. So you might look at that and be like, I don't understand how that works. How is it that 62.96 equals that? It's because there's a mathematical formula that, unless you understand the math, it's going to be really hard to like get the exact time codes that you need. So again, if we're at 76 hours, 7 minutes, 54, the value is considered 76.13. And that's because in After Effects, you can only have a value of 0 to 100 in order for this timer to work. So that's why I created this converter. So now I'm going to jump over into the converter website, and I'm going to show you how you can pull in specific times, minutes, seconds, whatever you need. And then you can automatically add that value into here. It will make a lot more sense once I do a few examples. Okay, so now we're on the converter I created, and I'll leave a link in the description so you can just go straight to this page. But what this is going to do is, just like it says, it's going to convert anything that's from, like, let's say in this example, we're going to be focusing on hours, minutes, and seconds. So you would click this tab right here, and it's going to give you that value that we're going to need inside of After Effects for this to kind of show accurately. So let's go ahead and just type in some values right here. So let's say we have a timer and we want it to go from 0 up to, let's say, 12 hours, 30 minutes, and 20 seconds. So something pretty simple right here. So you can see that that value is considered 12.50555556. So what I did is, this button's going to come up right here. You just click it, and now it's going to automatically go to your clipboard. So now we could jump into After Effects, and it should now say 12:30:20. So let's go into here, and let's give it a value and just paste it in here. So 12 hours, 30 minutes, and 20 seconds. So again, when you do that, it should automatically come in like that. Now, there are cases where sometimes if you have kind of an odd number, sometimes that value that I just pasted in might get a little bit out of whack. So let me give you an example. So let's say I go here and type in like 44. So if I go here, type in 44, and if you see right here, the value is 12.51 with a bunch of 2s. So if I go into After Effects right now and I paste that in, so you see how it says 43? It should be 44. So if that does happen, what you can do is go to the very end right here and just kind of start to increase the last number. So you can see right here, it ends with a 2. It's kind of hard to see, but if I just type in a 3, you can see it will go to 44. So once in a while, when you start to get into like the seconds, the math can get off by like 1 digit. So now you can see, you can animate now between 0 and that value. So if we want to do that, what we would do is just go back into here, copy that value with the correct 44 seconds, and let's bring the timer back down to 0. Let's enable the timer animation. So you just click the icon right here, and then just scrub out into the video where you want it. So let's say we're at 4 seconds, and then you want it to animate into 12 hours, 30 minutes, and 44. So now you can see when you animate, you're going to see it's going to go slowly up to the 12 hours, 30 minutes, and 44 seconds. So what you can do is underneath your text layer, I like to go underneath the effects, and you can see this is right here going to be the animate value. So you can actually visually see these keyframes right down here. So now let's just go and do another example. Let's go into days, hours, minutes, and seconds. So let's go back into that converter and let's just show you another example. So if I go into here and let's say I need 7 days, 12 hours, 30 minutes, and 45 seconds. So something kind of odd. So it should be 7.52, blah, 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 blah. Just hit copy right here and jump over into After Effects. And let's get rid of these keyframes. So you can go ahead and just click these keyframes, hit delete. And let's see, at the 4-second value, we can just paste in the value we just added. So 7 days, 12 hours, 30 minutes, and 45 seconds. So you can see that all looks correct. I like to kind of go back and forth, make sure everything's good. And like I said, you just click this animate button right here, and then you can go up into the beginning and then just 0 that out. So now when you scrub through, it should be start at 0, and then it will go all the way to 7 days. So, you know, whatever your use case might be right here. So that's like the main reason why I wanted to create this tutorial, is to show you that you can use my converter and not have to try to guess the values up here. So I know it's a little confusing because I was hoping that Adobe, when they released this feature, that they would have it where you would just enter in those values. So you don't have to do like this weird converting and math. But as of recording this video, you're still gonna have to do that. So that's why I created that. And then everything else in here is, you know, pretty simple. They go through and you can change how big you want your label sizes right here, you know, label spacing, you know, just kind of standard stuff where you can move stuff around. Now, one thing I did kind of find odd was, for some reason, when you go, you can see right here where it says hour. I don't know why it doesn't say hours. So if you have a case where that's just not going to work for you, you're going to have to probably turn off the labels and then just bring in a little text label, you know, like a text layer, and just type in hours here. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of odd how they don't have an S at the end of hours, but they do for minutes and seconds. And that's it for this After Effects tutorial. Let me know if this countdown converter I created was helpful for your project. And if you want me to make more After Effects tutorials, let me know in the comments below, and I can, you know, create more videos like this in the future. Again, this is Mark from Wiki Design.